Konnichiwa! The Sega Mega Drive, or the Sega Genesis in the US, is one of my all-time favourite consoles. I have a huge amount of nostalgia. It's one of the consoles I grew up with as a kid. And so a couple of years ago, I decided to fulfill a childhood dream and collect every single Sega Mega Drive and Genesis game. Now, as I've started to collect this, I've realised the collection is pretty huge. And so to start off with, I've just narrowed my sights on the UK collection. Then I'm going to do the PAL, and then I'm going to do the US, and maybe the Japanese collection after that. Today's show is all about collecting those games and the games that I've picked up this month. Welcome to this month's Collector's Edition. My name's Mike, and this is the Retro Gamer Boy Show. Oh hi, you just caught me putting one of my manuals into this brand new sleeve. A sleeve that I picked up from Retro Protect. Retro Protect make a stunning selection of protective sleeves for all your manuals and game boxes. If you want to keep your manuals in pristine condition, then head over to retroprotect.co.uk and thank you to them for sponsoring today's show. Welcome back to the Retro Gamer Boy Show, and thank you again to Retro Protect for sponsoring the show. Today we're going to be taking a look at my pickups for June, including the most money I've ever spent on a single game. Oh God. Before we get into that though, I just wanted to show you what I've done with my video wall here. Now I covered this off in a previous episode and I wasn't happy with it. I was happy with the main frame, which is still on here, but I wasn't happy with the look and feel of it. So I ripped off all the old squares that I had on it and I put up some wood framing all the way around the main frame and painted it the same sort of grey that I've got on my shoot 'em up wall over there. And I'm really happy with the results. I wasn't so happy with the last ones. It looked a little bit tatty, a little bit naff, but this feels more like what I was after. I've done things like integrated ports. I've got a VGA port down here, RF port, and I've got an HDMI port down here. This allows me to add other consoles in. Most of these consoles are now plugged into this TV setup over here. I've got a shelf for my gaming over here. I've got a shelf along the top here so I can put my boxes in. And I think it's just a lot neater and more presentable. But you didn't come here to look at my shelving unit that I built. You came here to look at games. So let's check out this month's Collector's Edition. So we've picked up 8 games this month, and some of them have completed subsets and series of games, and we've got a couple of firsts in the collection. Now the first game we're going to be looking at is this, James Bond 007 The Duel. Now I wasn't too sure about this game, but on playing it I've really enjoyed it. And I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but it reminds me a little bit of Flashback, the way the gunplay works and navigation around the levels. You can duck, you can take and traverse different levels, and it feels a little bit like Flashback. Of course, it doesn't have the animation style of Flashback or some of the attention to detail that Flashback had, but it almost feels like it's a precursor to that game. European Club Soccer. It's one of those games I've always thought I've had in the collection. I just think it's a really common cover that everyone, it's one of those football games everyone sees. It's not a great game. I didn't really enjoy it. There's a lot better soccer games that I've got in my collection. Gain Ground. Now this is a game that I've been looking forward to getting. Everyone says it's an absolute classic. It's a brilliant game. I've got to say I was a little disappointed with it. I think because it had been hyped up so much, everyone was saying how great it is. I just found it a little bit repetitive. It's not bad. It's not a bad game by any stretch of the imagination. It's pretty decent. I played it till I think level 2. So I think there's like 10 stages to a level. And I managed to get all the way to level 2 before I decided to put it down. Not a bad game, but I was hoping that this was going to be one of the big games in my collection, and it just turned out not to be. Mortal Kombat. Now this game completes the full set of Mortal Kombat games that I've got. So I've got now 1, 2, 3 and Ultimate. So I've got all the Mortal Kombat. I love this game. I remember when it first came out on the Mega Drive, went around a friend's house, we played his copy, and we were blown away when we first discovered that there were special moves, because they weren't anywhere in the manual, but you could pull off these moves that we had no idea you could do. And from that day onwards, we spent weeks and weeks just trying to find out all the special moves until a magazine came out and showed you what you could do. Empire of Steel. I've wanted this game forever. Since I saw it in the shelves as a young teenager who played Mega Drive games, I always wanted. Now, I've always been a little bit scared of shmups, but the last 8 months, I've been getting into them massively. And I gotta say, Empire of Steel is stunning. I absolutely love this shmup. Now, I don't know what other people think about it. I've not really read up on people's opinions, not really watched any video reviews on it. But I love this game. I love the steampunk theme of the game and being able to choose between two different vehicles. That really switches up the different gameplay mechanics that you have in this game. But Empire of Steel, so happy with this. And given that gained ground I was a little bit disappointed with, Empire of Steel I was actually massively surprised by. Castle of Illusion, pretty standard game. Most gamers pick this up for the Sega Mega Drive. It's a good platforming game. This game actually now completes the entire Disney collection that was released in the UK. I had Castle of Illusion, or I have Castle of Illusion in the double pack with Quackshot, but I didn't have Castle of Illusion itself. So this completes the full Disney set. I even have Bonkers, which is the other game that was released by Disney. My first cardboard box Sega Mega Drive game. Now, I don't know why I've not picked these up before. I think some of them are super expensive because it is cardboard box. Most of the games on the Sega Mega Drive, especially in Europe, came in plastic clamshells. But this is the first of the games that didn't. Never played it before. Super surprised by it. It reminds me of Wing Commander, if you've ever played Wing Commander, and especially, I think it was maybe Wing Commander 4 that had Mark Hamill in it. Another thing about this is my first blockbuster game. So if I can get this out of the cardboard here, this is a blockbuster game. I've not had a single blockbuster game yet, which is pretty amazing, but you can see here's the blockbuster security seal that went across the label and the cartridge to stop you from fiddling with it. But yeah, my first cardboard Sega Mega Drive game, and it's an absolute beauty. Love this game, really enjoyed it. I've put a couple of hours into it already. Can't wait to get some more hours into it.
Alert.
Now the final game, some of you who watch Live at the Arcade will have already heard about this. It's my most expensive purchase to date, and it is Pirates of Darkwater. Now this game has been going up steadily for a while. It's, I think, the most expensive Sega Mega Drive game that you can purchase that isn't something like Lakers versus Celtics. I think Wily Wars is around, or some have sold for around the price that I've paid for this, and there could be some other variants that sell for around the same price, but at the time of buying, I think this was the most expensive Mega Drive game you could pick up. How much did I pay? I paid £600. It's the most I've ever spent. For this amount of money, I could have bought myself a brand new next generation console. Now, I'm not minted. I didn't go out and just drop £600. I had to sell some stuff. I sold some of my sealed PlayStation 2 games to help me fund this. And it's a game that I've been looking for. I found it really hard to find. People are selling them in terrible condition for the same price that I paid for this, which is in really, really, really good condition. I've checked it all over, make sure it's all genuine, and it is. But I am genuinely happy to get this in the collection. And unlike some really expensive games, this one is actually really, really good. So that's it for this month's collector's edition. Not a ton of games in there, but I don't think you can blame me considering how much that game cost. It was the most expensive game that I've ever bought, the most amount of money I've ever spent on a game. Yes, I had to sell some PlayStation 2 games, sealed PlayStation 2 games, and some that I really might regret, but they were sealed. So I've never played them, and you know, they might as well go to someone that loves collecting sealed games. One thing I forgot to mention in that video is that GameGround finishes all the games that were released in the UK for me that start with the letter G. It feels like this should be sponsored by Sesame Street, but it's not. It's sponsored by retroprotect.co.uk. If you've enjoyed the show, make sure you leave a comment below and a thumbs up. Remember to subscribe if you haven't already, and we make brand new retro gaming videos every single Monday. And so that you never miss one, you can click on the little bell just below this video. And if you can't wait until Monday, don't worry, we've got you covered with a huge back catalogue of retro gaming videos, 2 of which you can see over here.